Welcome, everyone. It is another time for the Premier Women's Show. I'm Laura Rubenstein, your host and producer. I'm here with the wonderful Gail Watson. We're going to talk today about your thought leadership, becoming a published author beyond just being an everyday author, but a well-known author. So let's get right to it and say hi to Gail. Hi, Gail.
Hi, Laura. Hi,
I am,
everybody. Yeah.
yeah. Hi, everyone. We're excited to be here. We've been talking about publishing, but really that's great. And there's so much more one can do, right? So back in the day, not too many years ago,
Yeah.
you started WSA Publishing. Why? How did that come about?
Well, a few things came about from that. As we were building the community of Women Speakers Association, we were meeting a lot of women who were, had that story within them and wanted to get it out. But I was also meeting a lot of people who had had an experience with publishing, and it was actually quite a confusing type world. There was a lot of big price tags, a lot of people owning different rights and things like that. And I thought, why does it have to be so complicated when we as, thought leaders or experts, we're entrepreneurs, all we want to do is really get our message out into a book in a nice, easy way. So that's why we went down that road, really looking for a good partner to work with, to support women in helping get their voice out. And in the launch, we launched with a project called Voices of the 21st Century. And really, that was just a moment one day when I was actually on a walk with a girlfriend one day. We're just talking about how, celebrities and all the, people, they have platform. They get book deals. People pay them for their story. But the power of that story is when it goes in print, it goes around the world, it gets in other people's hands, it has that, it creates the impact, has the influence in people's lives. So how do us everyday people simply just wanting to get our message out, how do we do it in an easy, cost-effective way and still get all the benefits? And that's where Voices of the 21st Century came about, as you know, is a book, thank you, for giving platform for our members to simply share their story and do it in a collaborative experience where we share the expenses, we share the marketing, and as a result, we get a lot more bang for our buck.
And I know I was a part of the book. This was the first book. We've since had three more books, and there's the third one in my desk here too. And we've had, we're in our fifth book now. Oh my gosh, and I think it even surprised us how the community came together so powerfully, that the platform was able to launch people into all kinds of success. So these are the books so far, and we have another one launching in February, and we do this every year now. So talk to us about how this has progressed. What results have our authors gained? Have you seen?
Yeah. It's a really cool progression, because when we're first doing, first of all, you apply to come into the book. And when we're selecting those stories and then meeting the authors for the first time, there's a lot of nerves, including my first time going in there. There was a lot of nerves going in there. And when people have asked me that question, how do you see it being successful? The where I really measure the success is when afterwards, talking to those exact same women, and they have been put on a road of progressing through. All of a sudden, that book pours a whole lot of confidence into a person. It gives them a product. It gives them this, this being. Their message becomes true to life, right? And they really stand it and they own it. And then they just take off like a rocket ship. I'm thinking of people like Tracy Emin, her first time in that first book that you just showed, again, had a story from years ago on a cancer journey, didn't share it for a long time, private journey, shared it. completely opened the doors to a whole thing that's going on. You fast forward 5 years later, she now has her own independent book, Silver Lining of Cancer, that she shares stories with. She has an active clubhouse room. She's built that silver lining community where now it's not just about cancer, but it's finding the silver lining in life when life throws us a bad deal, right? And that's sort of that lemon to lemonades thing. And she draws out that story, those gratitude. Lucky Lordson, who's in our community, so impressive, where her direct quote is, it opened doors I never knew existed, which is such a beautiful thing to see. And then to see someone really step in and through those doors. I meet people like Michelle St. Jane and JJ Stenhouse, part of books, and then launching to go, you know what, I want to go deeper, further. I want to lead community, and then step into things like Global Business Connector. Paula Kramer, beautiful heart, removing stigma from mental health. That gave her platform to have media attention. So these women are taking their stories by just placing a simple piece into a book, that it opens up, launches them into a whole new world, a launching pad, whether it's business or just draw more attention to certain subjects. I mean, it's beautiful. The progression can be what you want it to be. And it does open those doors. Thank you, Lucky. It opens those doors you didn't know exist.
And I know from what I saw and experienced with each of those people, like Lucky, her platform is about changing how people react with and interact with the elderly, the senior community, and becoming more aware of how to be more tolerant, how to show she's making a huge impact. So it opened doors for her, which is allowing her to make a bigger impact and change. Same thing with Dr. Janet Sawyer. She works with families and people who, on their esteem and on their, coaching their life. So, wow. When she, first you get the book and like you said, it was a journey from feeling like, can I really put this out there? Even like Tracy, can I really put this out there? Should I do it? And when they do it, and the feedback they get really fuels where they're supposed to be in life. And that's why I think people like Michelle and others have taken on the Global Business Connector. So you never know where it's going to take you, but just taking the step. I did that too. I did my, I have a published book, so you'd be like, why am I in, 4 of the 5 Voices books? Because I still have a message to share. I still want people to be inspired. And I have a project that I wasn't getting off the ground, which was my own book on feminine power. And guess what? It's in progress because of these books. And I've been more fueled by it, and I've gotten more ideas, and I have a community. Like the people say, they've got the community lifts them up. I mean, like a Paula Kramer. It's like we all supported her because you have to meet. You're not just going to get support just by plopping down money, right? You're going to get support by community, being in the community, engaging in this community. And she just was a super example of it, and still is. And she's in Voices, the 5th book that we're coming out with in February. So the community that's created is so rich. And we keep hearing that from author after author after author who steps in, because I think we have a very unique model for what we're doing here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Because I think it's more than just getting your name in a book and calling yourself a best-selling author, right? Like there's so much more.
Yeah. And I just want to speak to that sisterhood almost. Some names jumping out at me right now into my mind is Kate Jewett and Karen Watson, who are just always in and supporting everybody. And I see them on the personal Facebook pages of other authors, and they're just always so encouraging, and to be able to share their gifts and just that companionship and encouragement in a world that really is highly disconnected right now. As we get back to connect, they've really put a lot of connection and heart and love during that last year where it was, a lot of separation. So just sharing that love. But as a community, yeah, and I mean that's the personable part of it. Then there's the business part of it. Is like you said, you do become a best-selling author through that. Well, that's a title. That's your gold medal of the Olympics. No one can ever take that away from you. You're forever known as that best-selling author. But it's not just about, it's about putting that story into the book. For some, it's hard. A lot of fears can show up, but we go together, because one thing we always guarantee is that when you come into this book, we will all cross the finish line together. You will cross that line, and you will do it with people holding your hand along the way. And part of that hand holding is once your story's in and that it's off into production, we start another phase of the journey. The experience is training, because pretty soon you're going to have a book and you're going to go, now what? So what do I do with this book? What are the doors that are available to me, right? And how can I even find those doors? So that's where we're talking about the marketing know-hows of a book, resources, strategies, how to do book signings, virtual book tours, co-promotions. I mean, it's endless in terms of the paths you can go on, as we just shared different ways that you can do this. So I heard, going back 20 years ago, and if you remember Mark Victor Hansen, he's the largest publisher in the world with Jack Canfield, had Chicken Soup for the Soul. I was on a tour with them. And I remember Mark sharing with me, he goes, 10% of writing a book, 10% is writing it, 90% of it is marketing. And it is so, so important, the marketing of a book. And it's a piece that we know is a big void. And this is where we want every woman here to leverage the reach of the community to be able to get her message out in a bigger way. Because when we do it alone, then we're relying on our own community, we're relying on our own resources. But when we do it together, all of a sudden, everything magnifies.
And I love that we do handhold, and we have plenty of time. We don't slam these books out into the marketplace. We have, like you said, we have the period of writing, then we have the period of training and getting people to start the marketing. And it's a long period. People come to me all the time. You're so singing my language, Gail. They say, I have a book coming out next month. Can you help me market it? I'm like, you should have started 6 months ago, at least, with this marketing. We can do something. And then you want to have a post-marketing plan as well. And we help you with that in the whole publishing process. And I know that's one of the really unique standout things. And then we get 50 people, all the authors in the book, doing it at the same time for each other. So you're getting like amplified visibility. That is, where else do you get that? When everybody knows what they need to do and they're given the resources, the tools, the templates to do that. So that's one thing I love. There's also, like you said, those trainings, and we even have, what about for people who already have a book?
Yeah, we have a good 50% of our community here have that book. So whether they self-published it, maybe it's in an ebook form, there's a whole variety. And the bottom line is, if that's you, yay, that's awesome. Now what we find is, in conversations, I'll ask the direct question, how's your book doing? How's your book doing?
Mm-hmm.
And as Charmaine Hammond likes to call it, is it a piece of furniture? We've all gone down that road where because we can write the book, we get through that, we can order some books. Now we have to get the books in the hands of other people. Well, that's a whole other experience. And there's different fears associated with that. Maybe you still don't want that story in people's hands. And then that's where you get these boxes of books. Traditionally, that boxes of books sit there in your office. You put a towel over it. They do become a table.
Or a doorstop.
Or a doorstop. So are you speaking from experience there? I have some. I'm looking at some of my boxes here. So it's and we know that, and you know what we want to encourage you to do. We're going to be doing a training next week on this, but I want, it's okay. First of all, it's okay if we have one of those, you did your book, yay, let's just take it from there. If we need to take it off the shelf, dust it off, and get it back into action, let's do that. There's a variety of resources that in Women's Speakers Association where we want to support you if that's where you're at right now. So something coming up right now is this is November. We have our intake for the bookstore. Watch your emails, and in social and on the Facebook group. We will be inviting you if you'd like to put your book in the bookstore. That gives you shelving. That gives you some exposure. Now, it's not your only thing you should be doing, right? You should be doing other things, but this is if you want to. It's an online bookstore with a big reach. It's just simply visibility, right? And we have other options where you can get visibility packages where we'll interview you and all, sorts of fun stuff like that, right? But that is about strictly bringing attention to your book in this community. We have starting March 1st. These are all things, mark your calendar, please, if they're speaking to you. Your book as a business. We've featured this course now 3 years or it's coming into its 3rd year. Amazing success comes out of this, your book as a business. Charmaine Hammond, Google her or check out yourbookasAbusiness.com. And it's an 8-week course full of content. This is a woman who wrote her book 11 years ago. Fast forward, she has several books under her belt. She's just produced and launched. She's an executive producer of an animated short film. I mean, she is a woman in action, walks her talk. What she shares in that course are her scripts, what she does, her daily, everything that she does, she is giving it to you. All you have to really do is follow along, and you're taking that book and turning it into business, right? Business means it should be knocking on doors. It should be making money for you. It should be doing
it's such a powerful way, because if you do have those pile of books on your floor, you won't be able to keep them there if you take that course. Right. Yeah. But there's courses, there's the bookstore. I know people who've catapulted into the Global Business Connector program to have their own regional groups here with us and gotten in leadership positions. So there's so many options. I think we need to let the cat out of the bag about what's coming up in next week's and how people can get on next week's Design Your 2022 Thought Leader Marketing Plan, because we can throw all these options out to you, but we need to help you make the choice, or you need to make a good choice for you. What's your next step?
Well, right? The next thing is and that's as a leadership team, we've been talking after, speaking with the members of where they're at. We really want, we're all going into 2022 differently. We're feeling things are opening up for us. We're feeling we're way more back into an action where we were once, right? And that's a really good thing. No, we're going into 2023. No, we're going into 2022.
Eventually we'll get there.
Okay, we're going into 2022. And there's like you said, this is a really good time now to start thinking about that marketing plan and putting it into action. So if you haven't been thinking about that marketing plan, we want to help you with thinking about that marketing plan. So we have a form that will help you do just that. It's a bit.ly link, and it's you can see it there on your screen, WSA 2022. And it's a simple, 5 or 6 questions that will help you design, to kind of take an inventory of where you're at to give you an idea of what to do next. Then I'd like you to, take a look at that plan, and then would like you to register for our special session next week, where it's going to be a opportunity to take a look at your plan and see what the different options are to help you support yourself in that plan, because that's the big thing. We want 2022, whether you have a book and you want to get it back into action, or you've just written a book and you want to start deciding, what am I going to put in my marketing plan for 2022 to make my goals come to life? Okay. So it doesn't matter if you're a brand new author and you're figuring out what do I go with my story? Yeah, I want to get my story out. I want to do a book. I want to do my own book. I want to be part of a book. Like, there's all these different things to explore. It's and what we can do on that call together next week is just be wide open. I want to be wide open with you, give you opportunity to ask all the kinds of questions. This is your personal journey, right? And so that you can find out what's the best fit for you in your plan. And hopefully something really connects to you and you go, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. Might be that from that call, you might decide you want to do something else, right? Whatever it is, we are committed to you, wanting to help connect you to the very best resources to help you come to the end of 2022 with you reaching your goal.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is, if you want to make 2022 the time where you write, or you reignite your existing book, or you want to power up your book marketing with your existing book, we're having this like working marketing planning session with you, and complete with the WSA resources that are available, so that you can make 2022 your thought leadership, year.
Yeah, absolutely. So think of it as one big meeting where we're just, that's all that's going to happen on that call. It's just simply planning. You're going to have your own worksheet that you'll, just go to that bit.ly link. And that's the start of it. And that's to help just get you into action. So that when you open the doors of 2022, that you are on a pathway to get to where you want to go. Because that's the one big thing, is setting that goal, first identifying that goal. But now we have to take action on that goal, because nothing happens if we don't make it happen. And it's so much easier to do that in community than it is to do it alone. And that's one big thing that we have learned along the way. It's how I work too, is it's tough. It's tough sitting in your office and all by yourself and having to make all these decisions. So, and it's always so much easier when you can bounce ideas off of, just like in that Voices community. And Laura leads that community. And I believe why it has so much heart is because you, Laura, pour so much of yourself into there. You make it a safe place, an inviting place for people to share. And there's no dumb questions. There's no judgment if someone's feeling afraid. I remember one person, I don't know if it was last year, someone posted they were afraid. They were having anxiety feelings about putting their story out there. And I just remember this overwhelming response from all the authors supporting her. Mm-hmm. And I was reading that. It was really moving emotionally, because that's beautiful. Where do you get that?
Yeah. And we have these monthly gatherings where people can share and begin to speak about their story and their book and get really used to that. Then we do threads in the group where we help them formulate their one-liner, for example, or they share their wins with their press releases. So there's all kinds of community support that goes on for those who join us with the Voices books. And it's just such an exciting journey, because You are a voice of the 21st century. We love declaring you as that in this book for sure. And if you have a message, you are a voice of the 21st century. We'd love to support that in 2022. Let's get it done. If you've said, yeah, I really need to get to it, at least fill in that form at the bit.ly/WSA 2022. It'll start your brain working on it. If that's all you even do, it will kind of say, you get to declare on that form, what is it that you want to do next? Okay. And then we invite you as part of that form to participate in next week's planning session with Gail, and then take it from there. See what comes up. It's going to be great. This is the time of year to set yourself up for a great 2022. And this is the perfect event to do it with. So bit.ly/WSA 2022. We will see you there next week. And good luck.
Good luck.
Really go for it.
Thank you so much. And we will see you next week.
All right. Bye for now, everyone.